Hello, this is Paul the Oaken Knight bringing you the continuation of our campaign, Drive on Giessen. Where we're going to pick up is the Battle of Fulda, as I've mentioned in prior videos. Just so that you can see where that is in the southern part of the campaign map, where we have two Soviet battalions, one tank, one motor rifle, pushing forward from where they started earlier in the day. In defense, we have one U.S. battalion that got the bejesus kicked out of it in the first battle that occurred over here to the east. And then a second one, because we knew this was going to be such a tough battle, we stripped out of the defenses of the area to the north and also sent them into Fulda. The trade there is that we put the helicopters, the Apaches, showed up here, and you've seen that battle already in a prior recording. So there really is not the same level of aviation support for NATO down in Fulda. The Soviets have their two battalions. Here is the tank battalion. Now, because the first battle was a walkover in the early part of the first day turn, this battalion is untouched. It is the only full-strength tank battalion the Soviets have left, and here it is, and all with glorious T-80s to boot. Over here we have also an untouched motor rifle battalion. However, these guys do not have the BMPs. They have the far weaker BTR-60s that have no missiles and a rather weak gun. So their main weapon is simply mobility and the infantry they can offload. And they are supported with T-55 tanks, which should not take too much to dispatch, I assume. They have a full range of aviation assets with 3 Hinds, and they do have actually, there's only one counter in the game for this, but they do have 2 Sioux there. They will come together whenever the Sioux card is pulled. All right. For NATO, we have what's left of the Charlie Company, which got roughed up in the first part of the day. They're at something maybe a little over half strength, but they do have 3 steps of M1s. They started in the Fulda area, coming in from the north as a reinforcement. So they are not going to start on the map, but they will enter turn 1. Is Fox Company, which is at full strength. They have 4 steps of M1, so we are going to have some M1s here. 3.5 units basically. They've got their 2 Bradley counters, the M3s, and then an M901 and a mortar. Also in attendance is a Vulcan gun to help take care of any air threats, as well as a pair of A-10s. So there's going to be a lot of air support, but as we've seen, that can be variable. You roll a 6 on the attack, and if the attack never happens, and the unit is out of the scenario. So luck can have a lot to do with how effective these planes are going to be, and we won't know it until we actually get them on the table and see what happens. The map, as it's currently configured, is to the east. The eastern map has a number of hills that can be fought over. I haven't quite figured out what I want to do for placement for the NATO units, but it is possible they could deploy a bit forward and try to do a gradual withdraw. It is possible, but I haven't quite decided yet what to do with them. You'll see in a minute. Here to the west we have more of a cityscape. I think we can presume that's Fulda, as well as a river going through the map, and just basically a woods line separating the cityscape from the hills to the east. Moving west to east for the setup, we're going to have the American troopers show up in the center road. That way they can swing either way as needed. And we have opted not to do a forward defense because simply the other NATO company is simply not strong enough to allow for that. So they're hanging back in the trees. Hopefully they can swing around if they need to. They're going to see how things develop. We put the anti-aircraft unit in the central location so that it's got everybody under their umbrella. And we did put the M3 up here. Recall that M3s are recon units, and recon units do not have to trace command control to the headquarters. So he can go ahead and do that. Soviets, of course, aren't on the map yet. We're going to have the motor rifle guys coming in the south. We're going to have the T-80s coming in the center. And the idea is going to be to swing around over this way, take the two objectives, and then possibly pick up the third one, and possibly try to get some guys off the map to have a breakthrough movement, which would be a bonus move on the strategy map. All right, this is where we are. Let's see what the cards have in store for us. Charlie Company. Charlie Company is pretty much satisfied with where they're at. No reason to move. They stay put. Okay, here is the SU. Let's see what he wants to do. Maybe we can finish off an M1. That would be kind of toasty. We're going to take the counter, and we're going to say we're going to go and see if we can toastify what's left of that M1. First roll. Roll a 6, and the attack doesn't happen, and the guy gets chased off. It's NATO's day. He gets chased off. All right, so this right away, one of the two Su-25s have been chased off the battlefield. This guy is out of the scenario. There is a second one. So, but then right away, half of the Russian Air Force has decided not to be here. Well, that's the way it goes. Let's try the next guy. We're going to come in on the same guy with the second Su, see if they do any better. All right, this guy gets through. So the next thing that happens is we've got the anti-aircraft here. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's within his range of 7. He's got an attack factor of, let's see, he's rolling 2 dice for 5s. However, we do have one off-board unit that's going to add into this, so he's going to be getting a plus on the die to hit. So he's going to be rolling 2 dice for 4s on the attack, combining the 2 anti-aircraft units together. Here we go. And we get 2 hits. All right, so the Su has to roll in defense. It gets 2 dice for 4s. So we could have some more anti-aircraft action going on here. Let's see. Well, both sides are on their A game. All right, so the attack gets through. The 2 hits are negated. This is an opportunity fire on the part of the anti-aircraft unit. Let me go ahead and mark that. All right, so we have 6 dice for 3s on the attack. We have 4 dice for 5s in defense. 1, 2, 3, 4. He does get an extra die for concealment, and he does get an extra die for, what does he get an extra die for? Oh, being in the trees. So we have 6 dice on 6, 3s to hit on the attack, 5s to defend. Let's see. Bunches of dice. Hits. All right. So 3 successful hits, 2 defenses. So this guy is going to be suppressed. All right. Next card. End of operations. If another one of those comes up, it ends the turn. Fox Company, the Blue Boys. Enter the map. All right, I've elected to swing them on the north side of the river. Actually, I'm thinking about having them deploy in these woods here, but I also thought about swinging them south and then over. That could be done, but I just thought we'd be kind of outside the anti-aircraft envelope of this guy for too long. Well, it is the A-10s. Unfortunately, there's no Russians to be seen, so it doesn't do anything. And now we roll for our battlefield friction event, whatever you want to call it. Field event is a high-speed approach, and NATO won the roll as far as who gets to benefit from that. So I think these guys are going to get another move. So Fox Company gets a second move, or I guess it should be Fox Troop. Not to be confused with that old TV show. Anyway, there they are, and we'll pick another card. And the Foxy guys, one more time. Okay, and F Troop continues its deployment. Oh yeah, All right, next one. All right, we've got the Guards Motor Rifle boys. All right, we're gonna have them come on down here by the board edge and see how far they get. And they're snaking their way onto the southern part of the map, followed by the Soviet helicopters. And the helos decide to come in on the north edge just to cause some trouble up that way. Followed by the second end of operation, so that concludes the first turn. The Soviet tanks never got to move, so they are going to, we're going to pull one end of operations card and take the headquarters for that unit and set it aside, so they are guaranteed to move on turn 2, which we are now going to do. Beginning at turn 2, Guards Motor Rifle. They're going to do another move. Let's take care of that. Be right back. And they make their move. Followed by Charlie Company. See what Charlie Company wants to do. Alrighty, Charlie is shifting to the south, getting ready to head off these BTRs that are coming. Alright, next. Finally, the tanks. Alright, so the end of the headquarters comes back, and the end of operation card that we had pulled out goes back in the deck. And here we go. And notice that I am not clumping these guys up. I'm not stacking them. I don't want to set them up for a massive A-10 strike, which could very well happen, although we do have one anti-aircraft unit sitting here and a bridging unit. That might be an interesting guy to knock out as well. All right, who's next? Speak of the devil. Let me see what we're going to do. So the first A-10 came down and it obliterated the lead T-80 tank. Second one came down and there were 2 successful defenses, and it was not enough hits to cause anything to happen to the second T-80. All whiffs. No anti-aircraft fire was effective, and both A-10s have ammunition to come around for another strike next turn. And next turn is going to be, I picked the 2 end of operations cards in succession. All right, turn 3 begins with F Troop. And actually, they were the only guys that, they were the only guys that didn't move last turn. I put the reserved end of operation cards back in the deck, and I'm going to do their move. Okay, we had, the move is complete. Battlefield Friction was the next car. It was a non-event, followed by the remaining Su-25. All right, the F-15s did not manage to get to this guy. So the attack continues. We do have anti-aircraft fire from the Vulcan and the off-board missile units, so it's going to be 2 dice for 4s. And I rolled that, and I got 2 hits and only 1 successful defense from the SU. So we have 1 real hit. When there's 1 real hit, it's basically 50-50. 1, 2, 3, he's going to circle around and be available next turn. 4, 5, 6, he gets chased off and he leaves the scenario. So let's see what he does. And he gets chased off. So that's it for Soviet fixed-wing air power. 2 of them. Done. Soviet tanks on the move. All right. And the Soviet tanks move up. The only thing noteworthy, I'm hanging back with the anti-air. Didn't want to move him. Maybe he'll get an opportunity shot at an A-10. Let's see. We have picked the first of the end of operation cards next, followed by F Troop. All right, small amount of movement. Nothing much. We want to leave room for opportunity fire when the Soviets finally stick their noses across the terrain, and so we can see them. All righty. Charlie Company moved. Once again, not much in the way of movement. We are saving ourselves up for opportunity fire. The M1 that had been disrupted is rallied. Next move. And it is the Guards Motor Rifle. All right. I think the tanks have to go in first. I think even though these guys could go ahead and start closing, I think they would just get slaughtered. So So the motor rifled guys have decided to move up to the river. They are going to be doing an amphibious crossing rather than trying to go straight across in the open. So most of them are hidden, but we found out that this wounded M1 back here does have a line of sight to this guy, so he's taking his shot. We got 3 dice for 5s attacking, 2 for 6s defending, 2 dice defending because the guy's sitting in woods. And let's see, no successful defenses, 2 successful hits. So we are disrupted with a casualty. And we need to roll on the passenger. And he will take a hit as well. Okay, so once again, when the transporting unit takes a hit, the transported unit has a 50-50 shot of taking a hit, and this guy did. All right, next draw. And it is the Soviet helicopters. Let's see what they want to do. They've been milling around up here. I don't even know if they see anything anymore. I'll have to check. Okie dokie, the Soviet copters they couldn't see anything, so they've decided to continue their flanking move to the north and could cause some trouble for these guys over in this area. Oh yeah. Okay, Charlie Company continued to move their Bradley, their one and only remaining Bradley, over there. Other guys, the headquarters is staying put. But this M1 wounded guy I think, can take another shot at the guy he caught moving up to the river. So we'll go ahead and do that one more time and see if we can finish him off. All right, no effective defense. 2 more hits. That polishes off this guy. The passenger has a 1 chance in 6 of surviving this. And he does not. All right, so he's done. And these guys go into the dustpan of history. There we go. All right, next. EW. First time we've seen this guy. All right, EW. Now, in the first turn of the game, the early morning, I had been giving the Soviets a 2-point advantage. Now I'm only giving them a 1-point advantage. Let's see what happens. And it goes NATO. NATO. So some poor Soviet is going to get his head scrambled, and I think I know who that is. I think we're going to put this happy EW marker right on the Soviet tanks and see if we can make those BTR infantry even more uncomfortable with the tanks not showing up as they hope and expect. There we go. So far this is not quite going the Warsaw Pact's way, but you know, all things can change once we get to firing range and these T-80s start unloading. But right now, they're going to have to try to put their heads back together. And we picked the second end of operations. That will conclude it. Oh, the A-10s were the only card not used this turn. How about that? All right, but they're still out there and they're coming back. And let me reset for the start of turn 4. Okay, start of turn 4. We can see that we got the Soviet copters up north, and NATO has formed themselves something of a line along the woods and the clearing, all the way down to the south end of the map. Soviets moving east are attempting to get across this river. They declined the honor of crossing that bridge because that would have just exposed them to all kind of bad things, especially since the T-80s have not engaged yet, and now that they are having electronic warfare problems, going to have guys going out of command. These are 6-point morale training units, so most of the guys are probably going to go brain dead. Not a happy thing for the Pact right now. All right, but hey, these cards can do funny things. Let's see what happens next. And that happening next, it will be, well, not necessarily what they want. But we can get the guys across the river, so their full move will be crossing that river using an amphib move. If you look at the counter, you see kind of on the movement, which is right at the bottom, you see a mixed green and blue, and that's telling you that it's amphib. Okay, so we got some guys crossing the river, motoring on across. Let me take care of the move. Okie dokie, I moved up the BTRs. Four of them got across the river. I debated whether to push the T-55s up into the town, but they definitely would have been seen. I guess the only value there is that they would have absorbed opportunity fire shots, and it's possible, it could act kind of like a soak-off to give the T-80s an easier time, but that depends a lot on the order of the cards, and now we've got the EW problems with the T-80s. I thought it was like for sure the T-55s would be obliterated, and it was dicey whether they would help the T-80s anyway. So I opted to hang back with them, and we're going to go to the next card. End of ops, that's the first one. F troop. They have no shots, they're just hanging in there. But now we have to look at those helicopters. Let me see, maybe we do want to do a little relocation. Hey, let me see. Okay, there was some minor movement. In particular, I didn't see the reason to sacrifice the M901, the ITO vehicle that was hiding up here. He scooched around. And second, there was the M1 over here, I believe, and he moved here, half move, which means that he gets to do a moving fire on this BTR, straight out shot, and not even pay any penalty for it. M1s don't have any penalty when they move half or less. So this is 4 dice for 5s versus 1 die for a 6. This is not going to turn out good, I don't think. Here we go. 2 hits, no successful defense. So once again, we do a disrupt and a single step on a 4, 5, or 6. That single step will carry through on the passenger infantry. And it does. All right, so they're disrupted, and each guy, the passenger as well as the transport, take 1 hit each. All right, kind of a nail-biter decision what to do with this guy. I'm afraid when those T-80s come over the hill, if too many of them are active, that he could have a very hard day. This terrain is kind of problematic for the defender. It's just got a lot of hiding places and things that are going to drive the range to the short end, which is not necessarily to NATO's liking, but it's the terrain we have. All right, we're going to stay there, see what happens. Here we go. Now that can change things. Let's see what Mr. Warthog can do. We do have 2 of them, remember. Well, we had the MiGs chase off one A-10, so he's out of the scenario. The second one comes in, rolls in on a T-80. The anti-aircraft unit fires. He's normally 3 dice for 5s, but he's half range or less, so it's going to be 3 dice for 4s. The roll was 1 effective hit, but we also had 2 dice for 4s in defense with 1 effective defense, so he gets to actually do the attack. So now it's going to be 6 dice for 3s versus 4 dice for 5s. All right, in this case, we had 1 successful defense, but we had 4 successful attacks. So 3 hits on that T-80, and he's out of here. He's now a wreck. And I rolled for ammo on the A-10, and yes, he is indeed coming around. 1 more pass next turn. So one of them got chased away, and the other one is still in the action. Oh, Soviet helicopter time. Okay, here's the fun part, right? Well, what do they see? But the guys, they got a lot of respect. I think guys might have moved away. Let me see if they see anything, and we'll decide what to do. Okay, the Soviet Hinds move up on the hill. Still in nap of the earth mode, but from up there they should be able to. They're going to be a lot harder to avoid if they're up on that hill. Giessen, they're going to be higher than the hill when they come out of nap of the earth and start and go into hover. We did have a shot from the Vulcan, a long-range shot, greater than its normal range, and it whiffed on the shot. It was rolling for 6s. Next. Okay, battlefield funkiness. 11. And we have a squall, which is a short, intense storm. It's one turn only, so it's only going to be the rest of this turn. It may not be around for very long, but while it's here, let's see, +2 to hit. The two hit values, oh, +2 to hit, but it cannot push it above a 6, so a 6 will still hit. And all units on the map gain a +1 defensive bonus. So guys just got a whole lot harder to hit. Let's see. Again, this squall is done at the end of this turn. Charlie Company. Charlie Company. What do they want to do? All right, not much other than this guy here, this M3 Bradley, does have a shot at this guy over here who just crossed the river. So we're going to have an ATGM fire shooting over to this miserable BTR. So it's going to be 4 dice shooting for 4s and defending 1 die for a 6. This should be kind of toasty. All right, here we go. Well, nope, just disrupted him. That's it. Just 1 hit, nothing in defense. So this guy is disrupted. Now let's check for our missiles. See if we have any reload issues. And rolled a 6. His training is 7, so he's got no issues whatsoever. He's going to keep on shooting. Fox Company. All right, what can Fox Company do? And Fox Company's not going to do anything. They're simply going to wait for more targets to show themselves. So, Charlie Company. Well, if he liked it the first time, he'll love it the second time. We have another TOW missile strike on the same unit. So it's back to 4 dice. 4 dice for 4s versus 1 die for a 6. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Is it going to hit anything? Yeah, 1 hit. Well, 1 hit will take another bite of him. So this guy takes a hit. And on a 4, 5, or 6, the passenger is hit as well. Nope, not this time. All right, so we took a piece out of the transporter, the BTR transporting, and he remains disrupted. And the Soviet tanks. Here we go. Let me see who's awake, who's willing to go forward, and how big a threat that could be. All right, here's the results of the rolls. The most interesting one is that we did make the roll for EW reducing, so we know this problem is going to be done at the end of this turn. We did have 4 other T-80s go belly up due to being out of command. We have 3 up here that are good, and the guy with his headquarters is good. I don't like necessarily going in half strength. We started with 10 T-80s. 2 are already dead. 4 of them are out of command. The 4 we have left. And actually, I think the guy back here is too far back to only use half move and still see something. So we might only have, instead of 4 going in, have 3, 1 of which with the headquarters. I think the better part of valor here is to wait till next turn, simply because we know the EW will be gone, most likely, unless we have a new one pop up next turn. And wait this out. And then go in with everybody instead of going in half-baked. So I'm going to make maybe a little adjustment moves here, but I'm not going to push these guys forward this turn. So there we have it. We moved some T-80s a little bit forward, and they should be able to go move the half move and fire when they do get to move. So there's going to be an exchange of fire once these guys activate again next turn. That's the way this is setting up for now anyway. And we have the end of turn. All right. Only thing that we didn't have the EW card happen this turn. That's the only one. We're going up to turn 5. Let me clean it up and we'll do turn 5. All right, we're at the beginning of turn 5, and taking a quick look around, we see the motor rifle battalion, the Soviet motor rifle battalion, kind of hung up over here behind the town, kind of saying, "Please don't shoot me anymore. Make the bad man stop." it was really kind of sniping. They didn't really try to expose themselves, but NATO kind of helped them out a little bit in that regard and was able to shoot them. We're going to have these guys, the T-80s, are going to recover from the EW. In fact, this is already gone. Boom, it's gone. And so they have recovered, and I expect bad things to happen over there. We have the Soviet helicopters set up for shooting, and NATO is kind of hunkered down. And at this point, in terms of ground forces, we see Soviets have lost something on the order of about 20% of what they started with as far as real ground units are concerned. We're down 2 of the 10 T-80 platoons is gone, and we've got 1 BTR platoon gone, as well as with its infantry. So we got over here 2 T-80s, BTR with the associated infantry, and we have damaged a couple of the other BTR units, so that's about 20% loss overall. NATO hasn't lost anything yet, and one of the things we should always remember is what the strategic situation is. Over at Fulda, I mean, if the Americans don't get beat up, they could afford to turn this into another, okay, let's just do a bunch of casualties and fall back a little bit and live to fight another day. That is a definite possibility. They're not at a point yet where they have to hold anywhere. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe the Americans want to duke this out hot and heavy, or maybe they just want to say adios, we've done our damage, and we don't need to hang around here anymore. Let's see how this turn goes. And we start with Fox Company, which may not be a good thing because they have no targets, and we've been hanging back. Let me think about this. Okie dokie, I have decided that this is a really unhealthy place to be, because we're going to be having helicopters that are going to be able to see down there, and we're going to have tanks coming over the hill, and it's just going to, I think even the M1s, especially since it's going to be a close range, I don't think they can take it. I think they would just get blown up. They'll get their shots in, but they'll just get overwhelmed. So what we're going to do is we're going to circle back and we're going to have a mobile defense, not just hanging around, staying in one place and letting them figure out how to kill us. We've scooted around here. That is a full move. He's going to lose 1 die, but he's with the leader. So he's going to have 5 dice shooting for 5s against this BTR who's sitting out in the open. He gets a single die for a 6. So, at least we're going to kill some stuff. Let's see what we can do. Oh yeah, it's adios for you, muchacho. Let's see. Only a 1 gives that passenger a chance out of this. Oh, he rolled it. What do you know? Okay, so he loses a step and is disrupted, and the transporter is blown to smithereens. So this guy's blown to smithereens. This guy takes a hit. We have a wreck. And a disruption. Okay. And that guy is ops complete. Let me see what else I want to do here. All right. At this point, I think we're committed to kind of getting out of here. However, I'm going to leave the Bradleys here. Maybe they will be able to get some shots at folks, keep things honest. We still have let's see, 1.5 M1s here ready to fire from Charlie Company. They haven't moved. And I think we're probably hanging this this mortar out to dry just because he missed his command roll, and he's not going to be doing anything. So that's it for Fox Company. What's next? All right, we've got the motor rifle dudes, where they're going to want to do some rallying, and let me see what else they want to do. Okay, we've had some of the BTRs pull back across the river, the guys that have been disrupted and all shot up, and nobody rallied, so nothing helped. This guy crosses the river with his infantry unit attached. Next, we're snaking the T-55s down here. first guy that pokes his head out, he's got an opportunity fire coming at him. It is going to be 6 dice for 4s because we are under half range, and 3 dice rolling for 6s on defense. He gets a bonus die because of the town. Let's see, we're rolling for 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4 hits and 0 defenses. So he blowed up real good, just like a good T-55 should. All right, he's done. Boom. There is some risk here if the T-80s get their move. This guy's going to be hung out and not be able to return fire. But we've got 2 cards for Charlie Company in the deck still, and only 1 for the T-80s. So we decided to take that chance and blow that T-55 who poked his head out to smithereens. So here we go, continuing the move. We'll throw him into the town. There's no one else that can see him, I don't believe. At least who hasn't moved already. No, he doesn't see it. So that's good. And, well, his buddy's going to come up behind. This town is captured. One objective is taken. The other one's right back here. That's a gimme. And, of course, the last one is way over there, which is possible, especially if NATO decides to take the better part of valor, like I'm thinking now. But we'll see. Who's next? Oh, wait a minute. I think we got one more guy to go. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Do we really want to cross? Yes, we're starting to present a... Well, no, we can't. We're stacked up. We want to start presenting a target-rich environment. There's nothing else to do. All right, we're going to throw him here. Get him over the river. He is now stacked. All right, that will be all for the motor rifle guys. All these ops completes on. Ops complete, ops complete, ops complete. Everybody's ops complete. And first end of turn card. Charlie Company, what we wanted. All right. Well, gee, that was fun. Now we get to haul out of here so we don't pay the price. Let me go ahead and figure this out and be right back. Okay, the headquarters is going to swing around over here and move to a half move and blast this other T-55 who dared to walk forward to absolute smithereens. So, it's good being an M1 and a T-55. In this case, yes, we're at short range, so we're going to be shooting for 4s. Shooting for 4s, and it's going to be 6s on defense. Let's see. 6 attack dice for 6s. Okay, here we go. Well, he got a 6 in defense, so 1 successful to defense. 3 successful attacks, so it's going to be a disrupt and a one hit. So he is not destroyed, but he is roughed up a touch. Okay, so this guy ain't feeling good, and I think that's all we're gonna do for now. Okay, next, Fox Company. What kind of fun does Fox Company want to have today? Okay, the headquarters in an M1 doing a half move to line up and see if we can finish the job on that damaged T-55 platoon. In this case, it's going to be all 6 dice at standard range, so it's going to be rolling for 5s and rolling for 3 on 6s for the T-55. So 6 dice for 5s. I see 1 hit and no successful defenses. That finishes this guy off. And another T-55 bites the dust. This guy's gone. So we are doing significant damage now to this motor rifle battalion, which is a good thing. And you know, I'm kind of in the mood to declare victory if we can. We are kind of sliding off the map. That looks like a very happy road, and you know, we just want to do it till we have to stay on the map till turn 7, and then we can move off on turn 8, and this is turn 5. So we got to hang around 2 more turns and then leave. That's all sounds pretty good. Okay, that is Fox Company. All right, now we finally get the helicopters doing something. They might see somebody. Let me check this out. Although most guys left, you know, it's. I'm not sure they see anybody. Let's see. All right, and the answer is yes, they do, and let's figure out why. Okay, we'll consider that the ground level to be level 1. This is going to be 2 levels higher, so the hilltop is level 3. We got woods, that's level 4, and these guys are hovering 1 level above the woods. They're at level 5. So they are towering above these trees. They easily see down across the slope of the hill. So they are actually going to be seeing all these guys out here, all these agricultural sorts of hexes don't do anything. So they absolutely will be getting shots, but at least they're not at short range, because part of the issue was that for defense, or where we were anyway, these guys would have been firing under half range, and that could have gotten deadly even on an M1. So we didn't want to see that. At least firing at standard range is going to help some of that. So let me figure out some shots, and we'll see what happens. All right, our first shot is going to be, you can't even get them in both in frame. We got the helicopter way over there, and we have a Bradley hanging out over here, an easy target. He has 1 die for a 6 against 4 dice for 4s, but fortunately for him, he rolled a 6, 2 successful attacks, so he is merely disrupted. And now let's take a look at what the ammo situation is. They're going to make a quality roll. Their quality is 6. It's a 4, so he has no problem with his ammo. This guy is done. Next shot. Okay, we have another Bradley, and his brother's taking the shot, and this guy rolled 3 hits with no successful defense, and we have our first NATO wreck. Here goes a Bradley M3 cavalry vehicle. Done. Get him out of here. Boom. All right, that's 2 of them fired. Let's see if his ammo supply is holding up. Rolls. He needs a 2 through 6 to be okay. And he is not okay. Okay, so he is in missile reload mode. So let me mark that, and we keep going. All right, so what I ended up doing is taking a shot at an M1 and got a disruption, only 1 effective hit, or I think it was actually 2 and then 1 successful defense. Here's our guy with his missile reload mode, and the other guy, the last shooter, did not have a missile problem. So his missiles are just fine, thank you very much. And that's it for the helicopters, putting some pressure on. All right, we got the EW. This time NATO loses, so it's going to be a NATO unit that takes it on the chin. I think one of the guys that we just disrupted, Fox Company, that's the better of the 2 companies. We're going to give it to him as a special parting gift. All right. Soviet tanks finally wake up. Let's see what they want to do today. Well, first, all these guys are back in command, so that all goes away. And since the defenders all kind of left, this might just be a fairly simple move. Let me take care of that. Okay, I think we're going to have a shot here. This guy's going to move a half move, moving fire, and we have a shot at. Get some focus going on here. We're going to shoot at this Bradley because we definitely see him. All right. So it's going to be range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be a normal range. He's shooting 3 dice. He's shooting for 4s. Let me find a 4. There we go. We got a Bradley in the woods. He's defending on a 6. But he does get 2 dice at least. In fact, he's also concealed in the woods, so he's going to get 3 dice for 6, and his buddy here is going to be shooting Let's see, he loses 1 die for the move, even so T80 does not get off free on a half move. So he's shooting 2 dice for 4s versus 3 dice for 6s in defense. So maybe he'll do something, maybe he won't. And what we got is everybody missed everything, right? Yes. Yeah, everybody missed everything. Complete whiff. All right. What's next? Actually, what I didn't do is that there should have been an op fire shot, so I'm going to go ahead and take that. So there was no hit on the moving fire, but this guy should have gotten an op fire. It's going to be 4 dice for 4s versus he does have the reactive armor, 4 dice for 4s. Right. All right, it's even up. Oh, he has an extra one because he's got elevation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in defense. Right. Okay, let's roll the dice. Everybody's 4 or better. We got 1, 2, 3 in defense, 1, 2, 3 in attack. Nothing. All right, we have to roll for ammo on that Bradley. Let's see what he does today. And he's absolutely fine. I rolled aces. All right, so those are done. Let me see what the rest of the T80s feel like doing today. All right, we had another T80 move up here. And we have this disrupted Bradley, and he does see him. So this time there is no op fire because he's disrupted. But we're going to have him shooting a moving fire. He means he loses 1 die. He's going to have 2 dice for 4s, and the defender is 1 die for a 6. So it's a shot. And we had 1 successful hit. This guy's already disrupted. The defense was not successful. He takes a hit. So we're starting to whittle away at some NATO guys now. And this guy is done. All right, let's keep these T80s rolling. Okay, lots of moving, but no additional shots. So this is starting to turn into, I wouldn't call it a rout. I would say actually this is an effective elastic defense that we've been seeing here. And next we got Charlie Company. Let's see what Mr. Charlie wants to do. Okie dokie, Charlie Company is disengaging. They've kind of pulled themselves together and are going to be heading off the map. It's not enough time for the Soviet ground forces to get off the map because they only have 2 more turns to do it in. And yeah, I think we're getting close to calling this one. We'll see how the rest of this turn goes. Battlefield event. Alrighty, and we rolled a weather change, but unlike the last time this happened in one of our earlier games, this time it was simply clear weather. So if we had bad weather, it would have cleared up. So there's no negative effect this time. Oh ho ho! And we have Mr. Warthog. We do have him. There's one of those left. Let's see what he wants to do today. And the Warthog gets chased away by the MiGs. So he is now out of the scenario, and we have end of turn, which was the very last card in the deck. All right, that concludes turn 5. Let me take a look at this and see what the possibilities are from here. Okay, so the final deal for this one is that I played a little bit into the next turn. We had the helicopters come up early. They all unloaded on this M1. They took out 1 step. The Fox Company came next. They all rallied. They went to EOW reduction mode. They passed their morale checks for the one guy that needed a check, and so they are just so out of here along with everybody else. So 1 M1 step went away, and the rest is pretty much done. So the Soviets take this zone. The Americans are going to pull the heck out of here and continue to fall back. But with this, I just want to say I think it's time probably to call it for the campaign, or at least recording the campaign. I want to thank you guys for sticking with me this long, if you have done that. And I hope you have a better idea of what Drive on Giessen is about. What I think I might do is just pull my thoughts together into a final summary video as far as my thoughts as to if you wanted to referee a campaign like this or put together one for some kind of solitaire session like what I'm doing. And then it's pretty much up to you what you want to do with it, of course. So that being all said, I just want to say again, thank you for tuning in. Well, this is the Okanite, Paul, saying have yourself a happy evening, and if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. Take care, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.